Welcome to our Cleancast today. Thanks for joining us. Well, today I'm going to talk about some thoughts to ponder. Part one. This is a two-parter. We're going to do part one today, and next week we'll do part two. Some thoughts to ponder. You know, we talk a lot about the business, and we talk about, like last week, I think we talked about we can do that and how to build your business. But I came across a blog that I posted on my website last year, and it had 20 of Zig Ziglar's greatest quotes. And I thought that I would share them with you over the next 2 weeks, 10 today, and we'll talk about 10 next week. Doesn't have, as we've gone through these Cleancasts, we've tried to cover things about sales, we've tried to cover things about operations, administration, but we've tried to cover also things that just help us become better citizens in this world. And these next two are kind of that way. We're not going to talk about what do you charge for a case of toilet paper. We're going to talk about this week 10 things that Zig talked about, and I think that I'd like to give them to you now. Number one, your business is never really good or bad. Your business is either good or bad right between your ears. Let me say that one again. Your business is never really good or bad out there. Your business is either good or bad right between your ears. Number two, the real opportunity of success lies within the person, not the job. You ever thought about that? Ever thought about if you just did your job and did it just magnificently, and not magnificently insane, just magnificently, that how far you can go in this world? Listen to this one. It is easy to get to the top after you get through the crowd at the bottom. It's easy to get to the top after you get through the crowd at the bottom. You know, I was told years and years ago, I was probably 25, 22, 23, somewhere in there, and I never forgot it. I was told by a great wisdom guy with wisdom. He said, Dick, if you're swimming against the stream, if you're going the opposite direction that everybody else is, you're probably going the right way. And I found that to be true quite often in this world. If we're being creative and doing some things that clients need now, while everybody's still over here, we're probably going to, they're going to eventually get to us. We're going to have to, we can I'd hustle them now and get some business. But he was right. And of course my family has chastised me for that forever, because I'm always, let's go do this, here's a great idea. I think I'll try that, or I'm going to talk to my staff and we'll get, on that. And I just never quit thinking of new ways to help customers. And of course make $1 or $2 along the way. But just think about it. Think about the people around you. Are those the people that are going to climb to the top with you, or are they the crowd at the bottom that you want to climb through? Again, easy to get to the top after you get through the crowd at the bottom. And number 4, one of my favorites, the most beautiful, practical, workable philosophy in the world won't work if you won't work. Think about that. You ever know, one of my things is, no success ever came to what you were going to do. No success ever came by what you were going to do. You ever think of that? My wife has a good friend, and you've heard me maybe tell this story before. But she's always going to do something. She'll get up mid-morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, sits down with her coffee cup, and starts listing the things that she has to do that day. And then she watches maybe a soap opera or two, and by that time it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And, well, it's almost too late to get started today. I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow's the same thing. We get up at 10 o'clock, drink our coffee, make our list. Never get anything done. And so, again, the most beautiful, practical, workable philosophy in the world won't work if you won't work. Number 5. Obviously, there is little you can learn from doing nothing. Obviously, there is little you can learn from doing nothing. I so vividly remember and they're still out there in certain airports, billboards that say, "What happens if you don't advertise here?" And then out the bottom is in big letters, "Nothing." Because if you don't advertise, their message is, if you don't advertise here, you're not going to get any sales. What happens if you don't advertise here? Nothing. You may have seen those as you've traveled as well. I always thought that was really, really effective. There's little you can do from doing nothing. Excuse me, little you can learn from doing nothing. Here's one that is really good too. You must manage yourself before you can lead people. If you can't manage your own life, your own self, how do you get people to follow you? Willingly, let me put it that way. Who follow you willingly. The next one, obstacles are the things we see when we take our eyes off the goals. Obstacles are the things we see when we take our eyes off our goals. You know, I had a sign for years hanging in my office. It was a picture of a bunch of Prince Albert tobacco cans. And those of you that are older remember Prince Albert tobacco that used to come like that, come in cans for pipe smokers. And under that it said, "Success comes in cans, not in cants." And there are a lot of cants around, aren't there? When we try to do something, we keep hearing about all the reasons it can't be done. And that kind of goes with, you know, one of my old stories about yeah buts. Remember that? People come up with an idea, and maybe it's a new person that's on, in the company, and maybe they've been there a few months, and they've had a chance to look around and see what we're doing or not doing, and wouldn't it be a good idea too? And our natural reaction, because we've been there for an eternity, is, yeah, but we tried that back in '94 and it didn't work. Well, that was '94. This is 2018. Maybe we were too far ahead of our time back then. But there are people who, and I have relatives like that. They just sit around waiting to see what they can complain about, and why somebody is successful. It must have been all luck. I'm always reminded of some of the great entertainers and I'm thinking of people like Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, who talk about when people say you had overnight success, and Garth Brooks, yeah, I had 11 years of overnight success in a bunch of bars and taverns and clubs around the country. And Alan Jackson will tell you the same thing. He was working the mail room in Nashville, but overnight success, because they hit one record and people think, man, they come out of nowhere. They've been doing their trade for however many years in the honky tonks, and some people like the honky tonks. Some entertainers like Willie Nelson wants to, they want the honky tonks, and that's great. Okay. Number 8, lack of direction, not lack of time, is the problem. We all have the same 24 hours in each day. So when somebody says you don't have time, do you really not have time? Or do you not want to take the time? And that's okay, whichever it is, but we all have the same we all have the same hours in every day, 24, and we also have the chance to choose how we want to spend them. And so it's lack of direction a lot of times that we don't get things done, or lack of organization also, So, number 9, remember, you can earn more money, but when time is spent, it's gone forever. I don't think it's any secret that I'm on the latter part of my life, as old as I am, and I look back at all that time I spent. How much of it was good and how much of it was bad? And now how about you? Have you wasted a lot of time in your life? Are you wasting time now? Think about it. When that minute's gone, these podcasts, these cleancasts usually last somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. After you've listened to it, you can listen to it again, but you don't get those 5 or 10 minutes back. You got to take another 5 or 10 minutes. And so think about that. Number 10, and the last one we're going to talk about today, failure is an event, not a person. Yesterday ended last night. Failure is an event, not a person. Yesterday ended last night. It did, didn't it? Are we living in the past? Looking forward to the future? Think about some of the things Zig said. Zig's not with us anymore, but I think he probably, and I shouldn't say I think, he and a gentleman named Bob O'Connor had more to do with my growth and success than anyone else. And I think he said some really profound things here. We'll talk about next week. But and if you want to see these in writing, they're on my blog of December. I believe it's December it's in December of 2016. I believe it's December 16. But you can go to my blog, consultantsinCleaning.com, and when you go to that, go over on the right where it says blog, and they're archived there for, wherever I started. There's over 200 of them there. And so go back, you go to 2016 and scroll down, and all 20 of them will be there for you. Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.